Good evening, viewers, and a very warm welcome to you all. Welcome to Hekima Maishani, life principles that work everywhere, life principles that I believe in, I live by, and I have applied them in my own life, and they have made a difference for my life. These are godly life principles that are anchored in God's word. They are the keys to success and greatness. And these are life principles that are bound to make a difference in your lives as well if you apply them. So today we'll be looking at the second life principle. We'll be discussing about the importance of determination in our lives. What is determination and why is it so important in life? Determination is the willpower. It is a firm resolve as you pursue your goals, your dreams, and your ambitions in life. And we all agree that we all have dreams, we all have ambitions and goals in life. To be able to achieve them, what do we need? Number one, we need a firm resolve, the willpower to pursue them without giving up. Number two, we need to stay focused on our goals, our dreams, and our ambitions. We should not allow ourselves to be derailed or to be distracted by anything or by anyone. Number three, we must put in the effort. We must dedicate ourselves. We must dedicate our time. We must dedicate our resources. We must go an extra mile if we are going to be able to achieve our goals, our dreams, and our ambitions. So this principle of determination is very, very important. Whether it is in anything that you need to achieve in life, whether academics, whether it is in building your talent or building your ability in life, or anything that you are doing in life that is worth, one must be determined to do so. And to do so, you must remain determined from the beginning to the very end. So today I'd like us to look at a story in 2 Kings chapter 2, which is the story of Elisha and how he exemplifies for us this principle of determination. So in 2 Kings chapter 2, we see that Elijah was about to be taken to heaven. Now Elisha was the servant of Elijah. So do not confuse these two because the names are similar. Elijah was the master and Elisha was the servant. So the master, Elijah, was about to be taken to heaven. And if you remember, Prophet Elijah was one of the greatest prophets in his time. He was a great prophet in Israel and he had done great things and great miracles. So before he was taken to heaven, he embarked on a very long journey. This journey involved or entailed walking from a place called Gilgal all the way to a place called Bethel, all the way to a place called Jericho, all the way to the river Jordan and across the river Jordan. So he was about to begin a very long journey. So before he started this journey, he requested his servant Elisha to be left behind at the starting point of this journey a place called Gilgal. But Elisha had something he desired so much from his master. And he was not willing to let go of his master. He was not willing to be left behind by his master. So he did not agree to be left behind at Gilgal. He opted to accompany his master on this long journey. So we are told Elijah and Elisha walked from Gilgal and they walked all the way to Bethel. At Bethel, Prophet Elijah the master asked his servant again whether he wanted to be left behind at Bethel because he still had a long journey to undertake. But Elisha refused again to be left at Bethel. And at Bethel, Elisha encountered a group of prophets who tried to discourage him from following his master. They reminded him that on this particular day, Elisha would be separated from his master. They reminded him that there was no need, possibly. They were trying to tell him there was no need of continuing to follow his master because from that day henceforth, he would no longer see or be or work for his master, Elijah. But Elisha knew all about it. And so he silenced those prophets who tried to discourage him. And he did not agree to listen to them. He silenced them. And he continued to walk alongside his master as he walked from Bethel to Jericho. When they reached Jericho, a similar thing happened. First, Elijah, the master, asked the servant again to be left at Jericho because he still had another long journey to undertake ahead of him. But Elisha did not want to hear any of it. He was not willing to be left behind by his master. And Elisha, the servant, again encountered another group of prophets who tried to discourage him from continuing to follow his master. So Elisha did not listen to this group as well. They said the same discouraging words to him that he and his master would be separated on that particular day, and they were trying to tell him that there was no need of continuing to follow his master anymore. Furthermore, he was about to be left. He was about to be left as his master was being taken away. But Elisha, the servant, silenced the discouraging voices of the group of prophets. And he refused to listen to them. And he refused to stay behind. He opted to continue accompanying his master as he had done from the beginning of this journey. He had his mind made up. He was not going to stop at any point of this journey. He was going to be with his master from the beginning of the journey to the very end. So we are told the two walked all the way from Jericho to River Jordan, and they crossed over the River Jordan. And we are told it was not until they crossed over the River Jordan that Prophet Elijah the master asked his servant what he wished for, what he so desired from his master before he was taken away from him. And without any hesitation, this is what Elisha was after. This is what Elisha had desired all along, though he had not opened up to tell about it. He wanted to inherit a double portion of the Spirit who operated upon the life of Elijah. And that is what he requested from his master. Now his master, Elijah, said indeed this was a hard thing to ask for. And he set a condition that if indeed Elisha would see him being taken to heaven, then he would receive the spirit that operated upon his life. To cut the story short, we see that Elisha indeed saw as Elijah was being taken to heaven, and we are told that the cloak which Elijah had on him fell. And who received it? Elisha. Elisha picked up this cloak and placed it on himself. And immediately the spirit of Elijah now rested on the servant of Elijah, Elisha. What we see next are great miracles and great things that Elisha did. We see from that time henceforth that Elisha did one miracle after another, just like Elijah had done. If anything, he did even greater miracles than those that Elijah had done. Now, as he crossed back to go back to where he had come from, Elisha encountered the same group of prophets, and they had been watching the event of that day from a distance. It's amazing what happened. That these people who had tried to discourage Elisha from following the master, they suddenly realized there was a great change in Elisha's life. And they realized it and they talked about it. They said, we see that the spirit of Elijah is now resting on you, Elisha. And we are told they came and bowed down to Elisha. So it's amazing in life that some of the people who discourage you in life are the same one who will come to recognize and acknowledge when you achieve the one thing that they are trying to tell you not to pursue, trying to discourage you from pursuing. So, what do we learn about determination? Determination is the willpower, a firm resolve as you pursue your goals, as you pursue your dreams and your ambitions in life. And we see that Elisha inherited a double portion of the spirit of Elijah because he was willing to go an extra mile. He was willing to go a long, long journey, an extra mile. He was willing to put in the effort, no matter how tired he got, no matter how exhausted he got, he continued to follow his master from the beginning to the very end until such a time when he received the one thing that he so much desired. So, dear viewers, this evening, I want to assure you that that goal, that dream, that ambition you have in your heart is valid and is worth pursuing. Apply your heart, apply your mind, apply your willpower. Put in the effort, go the extra mile, and you will start achieving one goal after another, one dream after another, one ambition after another. And no matter how long it takes, no matter how much effort you put, always have the hope that you have the ability, the capacity, and one day, if you believe in the one thing that you are pursuing, you'll be able to achieve it and accomplish it. So listen to the next video, tune in to the next video as we pursue and conclude this discussion on determination. Thank you and good night.